for reporting that, this was actually against the law to bring alcohol into the schools, which it is, and which the lawyers for the district ultimately confirmed. But the sort of theme that, I kind of picked up on, especially really with the Porgy and Bess thing, I call it, otherwise signaling their disapproval, not because anybody did anything wrong. I mean, the singers are just singing. I'm asking questions, but because there's like this need among people in the community, in New Rochelle in particular, to show what side they're on. And the way they do that is, I think, through basically a sort of irrational behavior. And it's a larger commentary on where we've gone as a society. But what's
really
sad what's sad is that it's almost like people see it on TV and then they think that that's how they're supposed to act. And,
But isn't that a sign of the times, even at political rallies? I mean, it goes all the way back, and this is not to take sides in it, but lock her up and things like that. Everybody's into chanting everything that they agree with.
Well, I understand that. My point is that is for a national presidential race. I'm talking about the fact that even on the most picayune matters, people feel a need at
absolutely.
the local level, just in a school community about a middle school, or on a committee of a county legislature. People have to turn it into some kind of federal controversy, as if everybody's on the old CNN Crossfire show and we're all picking one side of the desk to sit on.
But even there, they were colleagues when they got off the air. In some ways we get played that way. The people, I get this sense, Bob, as I do this more and more, that we're pawns to, whether it's our cell phones, we're pawns to politicians, we're pawns to TV shows, get us all to yell and scream and cheer. And then the people that do it shake hands and go to lunch together anyway. Yeah,
and I think that's the part that a lot of people, who get riled up, fail to understand, which is that what they're looking at on TV is entertainment. Okay, so I think that I used to do those shows. I used to go on CNBC and Fox and,
I know.
and MSNBC and CNN and other channels. And initially they asked me on because I had a particular expertise, right? I was the president of an organization of people who did citizen journalism and blogging, and we were a national-wide organization. We got involved in legal cases, and I would be brought on to talk about those cases.
Right.
But once they had my number, they're like, okay, well, maybe you could come talk about this other topic, right? And the last one of those I ever did, and I stopped returning their calls afterwards, is I did an appearance on CNBC with a guy named Michael Wolff, who's a sort of media analyst.
He's a media
kind of guy who wrote some books about Trump. They called me and said, well, we want to put you on against Michael Wolff. And I said, well, about what? And they said, well, there's an article in the New York Times. Did you read it? No. Well, we'll send it to you. And we'll send a car and just read it on the way. Okay. So here's something I know nothing about. Go into the studio. I was, by myself. He was on a live remote, and so was he. It's an 8-minute segment. And I get to talk for maybe 2-3 minutes of that. So does he, although he talked a little more. And then, of course, the host talks. And I think the host may have even been New Rochelle. New Rochelle owns Gloria Borger.
Okay, sure.
Who's now with CNN. But in any case, I didn't know what I was talking about. But they had no problem with that because I can read, so I know what the argument was, and I can say, well, what about this? What about that? And it left me such an empty feeling. Like I drove back, and they drove me back, and I just thought,